Hello and welcome to ET Garage. I'm Eugene Tordo, and I want to thank everybody that's subscribed so far. If you haven't, please go down there, subscribe, like, hit the notification bell, all that good stuff. Share with your friends, help the channel grow. I'm getting closer to 1,000 subscribers, which is what I need in order to become monetized and help pay for all these projects I do. Today's video is just going to be a follow-up to the test drive video I did, and I'll go into more detail about, I guess, how the brakes perform and whether it was worth it or not, and some of the reasons I did it, and all that stuff. But one of the reasons I did it is I like to drive on these twisty mountain back roads. There's a lot of elevation changes, a lot of steep inclines going into hairpin turns, and anyone who's driven a C4 Corvette knows that it has a higher pedal pressure than what most people are normal to in modern cars. And the reason it's like that is for pedal feel, and you want good brake pedal feel because that helps you control the car better, especially under hard braking. It's a performance automobile. It's not like my SUV where I used to drive back and forth to work, etc., etc. So that's one of the things you have to understand about the C4 Corvette if you have one. If you've never driven one, they have heavier steering and they have heavier brakes. They did, like I said, I think in a previous video, they did lighten up the braking on them later. The last couple of years, they changed the pedal ratio to do that. And but another consideration is, as I get older, I have a lot of back problems, including my sciatic, and that does affect my legs and weaken it, especially in this leg here, even though I don't use this leg for braking. It's one of the reasons I drive an auto and not a clutch. I'd love to have a stick. If I ever got caught in traffic with it, I'd be hurting really bad. But the brake upgrade was definitely worth it. These brakes have excellent feel, a lot less pedal effort at the same time, especially when going down from high speeds. And even though the brake rotors themselves are heavier, the overall package is lighter because the calipers and brackets are a lot lighter than the factory ones. And they're 6-piston calipers, so they clamp both sides of the brake rotor, unlike the factory calipers, which just has 2 pistons on one side, and then it sort of slides the caliper back and forth when it clamps it. That being said, if I would have went to the heavy-duty version, just did the heavy-duty conversion, it would have saved me a lot of money. At the same time, you would have had the exact same calipers. The only difference in the heavy-duty calipers is they're wider in order to allow for a wider brake rotor that the heavy-duty package, factory heavy-duty package has. Now, another braking option that a lot of people do is they'll do just the bias spring, because these two come heavily biased to the front. That being said, with the stock factory base model brakes, I never really had a nosedive problem under hard braking. So I never felt I needed that with the stock brakes. Now, if I would have had the heavy duty brakes, that may have been different. I probably would have been a little bit more braking with those because of the larger diameter of the rotor. How much more, I don't know. I know other people have experienced nose dive on the factory brakes, so I haven't. That has a lot to do also with my suspension setup. It's not stock. I have different shocks. I have the Ride Tech adjustable shocks. I have bigger sway bars, and I actually run the soft ride springs, so because on these bumpy roads, that combination seems to work really well. That being said, with just doing the Wildwood brake upgrade without the bias spring, I had a lot of nosedive. I could definitely brake a lot harder and a lot later into a turn, and you definitely got a lot of nosedive. I put the bias spring in. Now I have no nosedive. It seems to be nice and even, and it seemed to work out really well. So Time will tell how that works over time. I will have to pay more attention to the rear brakes because those rear pads, if on factory rear pads, they're actually very thin. Brand new, the pads are thin. So I'm going to have to keep an eye on them, inspect them more, and more often. Depending, of course, that depends how much you drive your Corvette. I drive mine a lot. So every winter I usually put it up on jack stands and do some type of project, so that's not a problem. I would assume even all the miles that I drive and all the braking I do on these twisty mountain back roads, a set of pads will easily outlast a year, so I shouldn't have to worry. That being said, it's still something to take into consideration. So this winter, like I said, this winter I am going to take those rear calipers off and paint them just so they try and get them as close to color match as the front Wildwoods. I don't know if I can do that or not. Even a fresh paint's just going to make them look better anyway. And I'll throw a nice set of pads on there too. Right now I got the Hawk HPS pads on there. Getting the pads, I have the Wildwood BP10 pads on there. They're most, as far as I know, the most street-oriented pad that they have, and they do dust. They do dust more than the Hawk HPS. The HPS actually dusts, in my opinion, quite a lot, and by quite a lot I mean more. Like say my OEM Chevy Trax with the factory brakes, they don't hardly dust at all. Yeah, in fact, I don't think they dust at all. Of course, I hardly don't do the braking I do with that I do with this. And if you have, and I've had other vehicles where I've gotten those low dust ceramic brake pads, you know, ones that are like hard like glass and pretty much break like they're glass against glass. And those don't dust hardly at all either. They do dust, they make like a white dust. That's been my experience in other vehicles. But that being said, these pads, these brakes have great feedback. And the pad material has a lot to do with that. Now I do plan on making one other, well, I wouldn't call it an upgrade, it's more of a maintenance item on the brakes. And that will be all the hard brake lines, the metal brake lines, the steel ones, 30-year-old steel ones that have over 230,000 miles on them. I am going to replace them with stainless steel ones, pre-bent tubes from Classic Tubes. They already sent me the tubes, and as far as I can tell, they're all good except one of them. They didn't put the fittings on, and they didn't flare the ends correctly. It's like they started to flare it and stopped. Maybe they realized they didn't put the fittings on, but anyway, they sent me that one line. There's that one line in that box. That's no good. They're supposed to be sending me another, so I don't know, just check back on my channel or subscribe like I said, and we'll find out in the future what happens with that. I will be replacing the weather strip. I'll be doing a video on that. I might just do the hatch video, the hatch weather strip on the hatch separate, and do that first, and then later this winter, in the winter, I'll do the rest. I already got that. Got that from Corvette Rubber Company. I ordered it like on a Monday, and it got here on a Thursday, free shipping. So big thumbs up to Corvette Rubber Company for getting that stuff to me quick. So I'll be doing videos on that, and some other things too. We'll see. I like to do other projects. I like to take on another project besides the Corvette. First, I have the one-car garage and limited funds, so kind of stuck with this. Thought about doing projects on the Chevy Trax, so who knows, I might do something on that. That might actually be good for my channel, even though no one thinks of a Chevy Trax as a performance vehicle or anything like that. More people drive Chevy Trax than drive Corvettes. I can guarantee you that. I don't know what the actual info is on out there, but I can almost guarantee you that's true. So there might be some more interest in that. And if I do anything, it ain't gonna be too radical. Like I might just put drilled and slotted rotors on it or something like that, and you know, some detailing stuff. And something I would definitely like to do at Chevy Trax is add sound deadening. I mean, if you think tire noise is bad in your Corvette that you hear in your C4 Corvette, you should hear it in a Chevy Trax. I swear to God, there's no sound deadening whatsoever in that vehicle. No, who knows? Maybe I'll sound dead the Chevy Trax or something like that. But anyway, I want to thank everyone for watching. I hope everyone enjoys my videos. I hope they're helpful. The leaves are just starting to change here in Pennsylvania. I don't know if you can see it here good in this video, but I'm up here in windmill country. You know, you can see the windmill in the background. Ooh, it's getting fogged in, so let me see. Turn the camera around, and you can see that one. But anyway, like I said, thanks for watching. Everybody have a great day, and God bless.